Did you know? According to recent data, countries receiving aid from the International Monetary Fund, IMF, experience a significant drop in economic growth compared to those that don't rely on such support. This might sound counterintuitive, especially when we hear about the IMF stepping in to rescue nations in crisis. But President Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso seems to have understood this all too well. His recent decision to turn down IMF aid is stirring debates both at home and abroad. What led him to such a bold move, and what does it mean for the future of Burkina Faso? When Ibrahim Traore took the reins of Burkina Faso, the country faced a myriad of challenges: insurgencies, economic instability, and a population grappling with poverty. One of the obvious solutions, some might argue, was to seek help from international financial institutions like the IMF. After all, IMF aid packages often come with promises of economic restructuring, stability, and growth. But President Traore saw things differently. He recognized that IMF aid often comes with strings attached, conditions that could compromise the nation's sovereignty and long-term economic independence. The decision to decline the IMF's assistance has left many questioning whether Traore's leadership is taking a risk or paving the way for a truly independent Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso, like many other nations in the region, has been wrestling with economic challenges for decades. Struggling with inflation, high unemployment rates, and external debt, the prospect of receiving a bailout from the IMF seemed like a logical step. For years, IMF interventions have been viewed as a necessary evil to keep nations afloat during hard times. However, IMF loans often come with stringent conditions. These include austerity measures, cuts to public spending, and reforms aimed at increasing market liberalization. The intention, in theory, is to stabilize the country's economy and make it more competitive in the global market. But in practice, these conditions have sometimes worsened the economic woes they were meant to fix. Countries have had to slash social programs, increase taxes, and open their economies to foreign corporations, all at the expense of the local population. In the case of Burkina Faso, IMF conditions would likely have meant cutting public spending on essential services like healthcare, education, and infrastructure, all of which are crucial to improving the quality of life for Burkinabe citizens. These conditions are seen by many as an infringement on national sovereignty, as they force countries to adopt policies that primarily benefit external creditors and corporations rather than the local economy. President Traore's refusal to accept IMF aid has been met with mixed reactions. On one hand, his decision has been applauded by those who see it as a bold stand for national sovereignty. They argue that Burkina Faso, under his leadership, is striving to reclaim its independence from foreign influence. After all, the burden of foreign debt and the control exerted by global financial institutions have long stifled the growth of many African nations. Traore's supporters believe that his decision is part of a broader strategy to break free from the cycle of dependence on foreign aid and pursue a path of self-reliance. They point to countries like China and South Korea, which achieved rapid economic development without falling into the trap of IMF loans and their conditions. On the other hand, critics argue that Burkina Faso's economic challenges are too severe to be addressed without external support. They warn that Traore's decision could lead to short-term economic hardships, including inflation, currency devaluation, and a lack of access to international credit markets. Some fear that the lack of immediate financial assistance could worsen the already precarious situation, leading to social unrest and further instability. The real question is, can Burkina Faso sustain itself without IMF aid? President Traore's decision may seem audacious, but it could also mark a turning point in the country's economic future. His administration is betting on an alternative development model, one that focuses on harnessing the country's natural resources, strengthening local industries, and building partnerships with non-Western countries. One of the most surprising reactions to Traore's decision came from local entrepreneurs and small business owners, many of whom have expressed support for the president's stance. They see the potential for a more self-sufficient economy, one that prioritizes local production over imports and foreign-controlled industries. This shift could open up opportunities for local businesses to thrive and reduce the country's reliance on external aid. Furthermore, Traore's government has already begun exploring partnerships with countries that offer more favorable terms of cooperation, such as China, Russia, and other emerging economies. These countries have shown interest in investing in Burkina Faso's infrastructure, energy, and agricultural sectors, without the heavy conditions imposed by Western financial institutions. So is President Traore's decision a masterstroke or a gamble? Only time will tell. The next few months will be critical in determining the effectiveness of his approach. While the immediate road ahead may be bumpy, Traore's vision for a more independent and self-sustaining Burkina Faso could inspire other African nations facing similar challenges. The move has certainly ignited a broader conversation across the continent. Could this be the start of a new era of African leaders rejecting the traditional path of IMF dependency in favor of more sustainable homegrown solutions? Many hope that Traore's stance will encourage other nations to re-evaluate their relationships with international financial institutions and explore alternative paths to development. President Ibrahim Traore's refusal to accept IMF aid represents a pivotal moment in Burkina Faso's history. It is a decision that challenges the status quo, potentially reshaping the country's economic landscape and setting an example for other nations. While the outcome of this bold move remains uncertain, it is clear that Traore is committed to pursuing a vision of economic independence and self-reliance for his people. What do you think? Is President Traore's decision a step in the right direction, or is it too risky given the current economic situation? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to check out our other videos for more insights on political developments across Africa. As always, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and make sure to subscribe to stay updated on all the latest news.